All right, so we had just finished that sample problem. I just have a few slides left, and then I'm going to show you how to approach one of the homework questions. All right, so income, prices, and preferences affect consumer choices. Utility and marginal utility can be used to analyze how consumer choices change when the budget constraint shifts in responses to changes in income or price. So let's look at our example again. We can use the same framework to look at price changes, is basically what it's saying. The other thing that we could have done is we could have changed her income here. We could have given her more or less income and see how consumer choices change. All right, so this is something that I know is going to look very stressful, and I'm assuring you that I'm not going to, sorry, package is getting delivered. I assure you I'm not going to test you on it, but it's something that I remember really liking when I was first studying this. And that is, if we look at all these different budget lines, okay, you can see the price of housing change. We've got everything else here and housing here. So we can draw a budget constraint with housing and everything else. And if I was to introduce indifference curves like your textbook does, you could see how we get these answers. But we get to these answers with marginal utility. So you can see that the quantity of housing increases as the price of housing decreases. And what we could do is we could actually map a demand curve from this. So essentially what we're doing with this consumer theory is we're going behind the demand curve. Starting in chapter 4, we're going to go behind the supply curve, but this is kind of how it all connects. Now the next thing that I wanted to do is just show you, this is a question that I'm assigning on the homework as an essay question. I actually want to see your work on it and see how you're doing. This was an exam, this is midterm 2, this was an exam last year for my undergrads. But basically, I've got cigarettes here and total utility and beer and total utility. To answer the question, you're going to need to calculate marginal utility and marginal utility per dollar, okay? So if total utility for one cigarette is 10, we can assume marginal utility is also 10. Because if you go from 0 to 1, your additional utility is 10. Now as you go from 1 to 2, your additional utility is 8. As you go from 2 to 3, your additional utility is 6. As you go from 3 to 4, your additional utility is 4. The price of cigarettes is 2, so marginal utility per dollar will be 5, 4, 3, and 2, etc. Okay, so that's how to get started on that problem. I felt like I should show you how to calculate marginal utility. So this is basically what we're going to be doing with consumer theory. What we'll do next week is we will do behavioral economics, and then we're going to start chapter 5. And chapter 5 is the start of the chapters that we're going to go really deeply into. That's a heavy chapter, and we're going to cover almost everything in it. So I'll make sure to post the smart books and everything so you can get more practice. Also, I believe Joe is presenting next week. So that's it. Enjoy your weekend.